king is on the throne, and the Bible often uses the language of Mount Zion, the home of the throne of the son of David, will be exalted above all of the other mountains. So it's not, I mean, it may be a topographical reality. There may be such a shift, but that's hard to imagine. If how tall is Mount Zion right now? 2,000 feet? Mount Zion. 2,400 feet. It's hard to imagine it being lifted to the point where it's taller than Mount Everest, or even Jebel Al-Luz down in Saudi Arabia is 8,200. It's hard to imagine the Earth shifting to that degree, but the point is to communicate that Israel will be the chief among the nations. Israel will be the head of the nations. The King Messiah will rule over. It says he will rule to the ends of the earth. Now there will still be nations, but Israel will be the chief. So it uses that language. Well, in Psalm 68 it says Bashan, Bashan. It's talking about, I think probably Mount Hermon, this majestic white snow-covered giant, like Rocky Mountain type of mountain, as compared to a lot of the mountains that we've seen. It says, why do you look with envy on Mount Zion? In terms of just size, Mount Hermon is far bigger, but it describes Mount Hermon as looking with envy down on Mount Zion, because it's Mount Zion that the Lord has chosen to dwell. The place of his feet would be there. And so if we get a good view of it, which will be at the base of it, but ideally, hopefully we'll be able to see it from a distance. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's a pretty clear day, so we may be able to. The Mount of Transfiguration actually took place. The Catholics often say it's Mount Tabor, which is a little bit south. You'll see it tomorrow. It's an interesting mountain that's a little bit more over toward like Nazareth area. But Mount Hermon is just magnificent. Now, let me do this. I'm going to throw out a really strange, weird theory. This is the weirdest that you'll ever hear me get. And it's complete speculation, and it's really goofy, but it's kind of a fascinating thought. And I don't know who suggested it. I think it was Stephen.
Probably.
But there are tremendous parallels between the Mount Sinai and the theophany, God coming down on the mountain. There are tremendous parallels between it and the Transfiguration. The motifs, the themes of the cloud is one of the most prominent themes throughout the Exodus narrative. It's one of the most prominent. Now, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this. Did I mention how many people, just curiously, maybe no one, how many people here read the appendix, the last appendix in my book, Sinai Design? So in that I talk about the sign of the coming of the Son of Man. And I credit a friend. And I say I was out in Colorado camping with some buddies, and one of my friends starts opening the scriptures, and he says, what do you think about this? And my mouth's open, and I said, that absolutely makes sense. And I said, you should write a book about that. And he goes, I don't know that's enough for a whole book. He said, why don't you just put it in your book? I was like, well, I don't want to steal your idea. He said, no, just put it in. So that was Stephen. So I mentioned it by name, but I don't know if a lot of you made the connection. So, and we may talk about that later. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's very cool. But to think in terms of a Jewish mind, a Hebrew mind, the impact of the cloud in the Exodus. So I'll just say a few things about this because we have a drive. When Israel was coming into the land, the Canaanites that were here, they worshiped Baal, was the storm god. And they referred to him as the cloud rider, the one who rides on the clouds. Baal is the cloud rider. Now think about this. Israel goes, oh really? Your pathetic false god rides on the clouds. They thought he's the storm god that controls the weather. They go, you guys are all talk. You idol worshippers. I mean, I'm kind of filling in the blanks. You idol worshippers have a lot of talk. We have seen our God with our eyes, riding on the cloud, leading us in the form of this pillar, and it's called a pillar. So we think of a, like a light post, a column, or a pillar. But the reality is it also was broad enough at the top to give them shade. This multitude coming up out of it to give them shade during the day. So think of it like an umbrella or a mushroom. And, like a funnel cloud, like a tornado. But yet, it's not a tornado because at times Moses walks right up to it. But think of that form. It's probably like an umbrella of that form. And at times it takes different shapes. It moves and this type of thing. But multiple times it refers to the Lord as being in the cloud itself. And at times it refers to the cloud as the angel of the Lord. As if the cloud is the Lord himself. He's in the cloud. It says he looks down from the cloud at the Egyptians. And so Israel's like, Baal's not the cloud rider. Yahweh is the cloud rider. Like we've seen him. We've followed him. So you have this amazing statement in the blessing of Moses, Deuteronomy 33, which are the last words of Moses before he dies. How do you say in Hebrew the blessing of Moses? So, not to be confused with Barack Obama, this is Baraka Moshe. His last words before he dies, he proclaims a prophetic blessing over the 12 tribes of Israel, like a father. Oh, this is Mahanaim. So this is the kibbutz. Oh, we have Mahanaim Junction? Yes. This is the kibbutz that I stayed at in 1994 when I first came to Israel. And so, this is Safat?
That's Rosh Hashanah.
This is Rosh Hashanah, so Safat is up here. It's back up here. So I actually, a dumb kid, 22, I looked up at Safat, which is a city back up here in the mountains, and I said, surely I can just run up there in one afternoon. So I started hiking up to Safat, which is the city of the where Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah started. It's a very religious, beautiful city, and it took me all day to get up there. Things always are further, and so anyway, that was exhausting, but it was one of my adventures. Got completely lost going up through the woods up there and stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, just one moment of your attention. If you look to the right-hand side, far away you can see the Golan Heights with the volcanoes on the top. And I want to show you Tel Hatzor. Hatzor was the head of the North Syrian kingdoms. Joshua was fighting against Jabin, the king of Hatzor. Remember? So if you look to the right-hand side, you will be able to see it, but just for a few seconds. You see there is a stone box over there, and there is a man standing on a stone box. Now, look over here. You see the typical trapezoid shape of the mound. Can you see it? Here it is. Can you see it now?
Yes, with snow.
Oh, Hatzor. That's.
You can see the
Oh, and the Mount Hermon just behind it. So beautiful.